So I'm Ashutosh, and here is we also have Prerna here and Manish here. So uh, we're a part of the team that organizes IICT
No, seriously.
and
Tinka
the
alag.
SEGFAULT hackathon and everything else. So first, maybe from my end, I'll begin a little bit with some details about who we are as a group, who are these random people that are organizing a hackathon, what's our background, what are the motives behind this hackathon, what you can expect, some details like that, and from there, obviously you guys can ask any questions, and yeah, we encourage you to unmute yourself and just ask any questions. If you don't uh, talking over voice chat, you can always use one of the text channels and message there. So, okay, let's get started. So, I'm Ashutosh Pandey. I am a compiler engineer at AMD. I've been working there ever since I graduated in 2021, and I'm a part of this group called LLVM Social Bangalore. So LLVM Social Bangalore is a compiler meetup group, as in where a bunch of compiler enthusiasts that meet ever so often and talk all about compilers and stuff. So LLVM Social Bangalore is the largest compiler meetup on earth. It has about 2,700 plus members. So it's a community for compiler developers to talk, meet each other, hold meetups, and all that kind of stuff. And it's important because in everyday life, you don't run into a lot of people working on compilers. Most people work on their own subset of work on some subset of web technologies, app development, and stuff like that. But LLVM Social is a group dedicated to promoting compilers, not just LLVM. The name started out as LLVM Social because of LLVM, but we talk about all sorts of compilers, GCC, Java, and other languages, and MLIR, of course. So LLVM Social Bangalore has existed for longer than I've been working. It started in 2019. It was started by a couple of folks, Pradeep Kumar, Aditya Kumar, who's in Google right now. You might know Aditya because he's also the chair of the CGO conference, the performance workshop at CGO. It was also started by Rishabh Sharma, who's in the US right now doing his PhD. Uh, Pradeep and I joined a couple of years later, and Prerna joined us a couple of years ago. So basically, we organize meetups, talks on compilers. So they happen once a month, those talks. Uh, uh, it's like once a month, sometime we have either online talks or offline talks. Online, they're usually on Google Meet. Offline, it happens in various places throughout Bangalore. We've had meetups at IISc in the CSA department. We've had meetings at NVIDIA office where Pradeep and Prerna work. We've also had meetups at AMD office where I work. We've also met at places like the Deep Source office. So we host meetups like across the city where usually there's one tech talk related to compilers. We've had speakers like Santosh Nagarkate, and last month we had a talk on orthogonally replicated data structures by a speaker from IISc. So we do regular meetups, and last year we started this Innovation and Compiler Technology Conference, which was held at Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering for the first edition. And it had about 200 attendees. We capped it at 200 attendees for the first edition. And we had some 24 talks. We had like 24 talks, including 19 talks that were selected from the submissions, as well as 5 invited talks from various professors and experts in the industry. So last year's entire conference is on YouTube on LLVM Social Bangalore's YouTube channel. You can go check out those talks whenever you want. So this year we are hosting IICT 2025 at IISC in the AV Ramarao Auditorium in the Chemical Sciences building, and this hackathon is a part of that. So the idea behind this was that generally that uh, hackathons are mostly centered around AI and web stuff. So even I have a good background with hackathons. I've participated and judged several hackathons before. So I always felt that system projects were very absent from hackathons because one is that it's very difficult to explain to someone that how difficult it can be to do even seemingly very simple things in systems projects, and secondly that the judges are often unqualified to really judge systems projects properly. So we knew that at the IICT conference, we'll have an entire panel of very experienced folks that will be capable of judging entries in systems projects. So we came up with the SEGFAULT hackathon. And fortunately, while we were shortlisting teams, we were not so sure, but now the hackathon is backed by CDAC as a knowledge partner and as the primary sponsor for this hackathon. They are sponsoring the entire prize pool of 1,50,000 rupees, and they're also looking to hire people to intern and work there. So you'll definitely see them at IICT. So how the next few weeks will proceed is we are giving you time to build your product, whatever you've promised. You can deviate from what you've written. You don't have to build exactly what you wrote in your abstract document. You are allowed some deviation as long as you inform us of that. Uh, so you'll have a couple of weeks to build. In between this time, if you need technical help, if it is within our ability to help, as in me, Pradeep, Prerna, or anyone can help you, we'll try to help you directly. If it is beyond our ability to help, we will try to find an expert that can help you. So please don't be afraid to ask for help. You can ask for help anytime on any of the channels, or if it's not possible to ask on the channel for some reason, then you can DM us. We'll try to arrange for help and some mentorship. And on 13th and 14th, we'll have an online evaluation round. Before that, we'll just take your submissions in the form of GitHub links. Uh, you don't have to open source your project, but your project should be visible to us, the organizers at least. So we'll go through your submissions, and there'll be an online round where you can pitch your solution, explain it in say 5 minutes, which includes any PPTs or other demos or any other things that you might have. So you'll have about 5 to 6 minutes to explain it, and then there'll be a few minutes Q&A, and then our entire panel together will decide which top six teams to send to the IICT finals. We are also contemplating that a few other submissions that don't make it to the top six might be considered for posters at the hackathon at the conference. So the conference also has a poster session. So we'll be inviting some of you to submit posters there as well, so that you can show what you've built to the world. And On the last day of IICT, which is Sunday, 28th September, the last hour and a half is reserved for the top six participants. They'll be presenting the solution on stage to the jury, which will be most of the program committee members of IICT. There's professors, there's people like Professor Uday Reddy Bondugula, Dr. Dibyendu Das. These sorts of people, really senior people from the compiler industry, will look at your entries and they'll decide who comes in the top three. So that's like a rough overview. Now, if any of you have any questions or any other details, please uh, unmute and ask your questions, and we can take the yeah
Yes. Hi, Ashok.
yeah
May I?
yeah yeah
First of all,
Please.
thank you for giving us this opportunity because compilers hackathons are indeed very rare.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. Question that I had was around this flexibility around our submissions for our proposals. So like you
Okay.
mentioned that we can deviate from them, yes. My
Yes.
question was that let's say our first evaluation happens on 14th of September and we are given the go ahead for the next round.
Yes.
At that point as well, can we expand the scope of our project and add or subtract our teammates or something like that?
Expanding the scope of your project, sure, you can build upon it. We are not telling you that you have to stop building.
Hmm.
Adding or subtracting teammates that late into the process is kind of a strange choice. It would be better to do that before we reach the midpoint, right? Because ideally, the people that built the whole project are the ones who should be there to present it. So,
I see.
if you add someone at the last moment, you're basically taking somebody who is not built the project. Like you're on stage, you're presenting it, and let's say one of your teammates doesn't know the project as well as the others, so that's a disadvantage for you. So yeah, I mean, I would reconsider that, but yeah, you're free to continue building past 14th September. You can do that, but just keep the time limit in mind that you'll have like 5 6 minutes, and that includes both the time you need to go through any kind of PPT solution as well as giving the live demo on stage.
I see.
So yeah, that you need to worry about that. That's the only constraint.
Okay, and should we want to change teammates even before the halfway point, then we should mail you guys and confirm that whole thing, right?
Yeah, just email us and tell us that which teammate you're replacing. There's a limit of 4 members per team, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it's less than four, if your current team has less than 4 people, you can just add the person. If it's 4 people already, then you'll have to replace someone.
Of
So
course, yes.
just let us know that. Yeah,
Okay, I had one more question here.
yeah,
So this is something I think I mentioned on the chat before as well around LLM usage.
yeah,
So I'll give an example basically. Let's say I make my project and then I use say ChatGPT to write my CMake files.
yes,
And of course, then the entire CMake file is written by ChatGPT. Now I
yes,
tried to find some sources online which say that okay, OpenAI does not own this material, ChatGPT does not own the material, there's no copyright issue as such. But
yeah,
as far as hackathon judging is concerned, what
yeah.
level of attribution do you guys expect? Like, can I just add a disclaimer there that okay, scaffolding or some boilerplate was written by ChatGPT and then the logic and implementation was mine? Or do you expect like proper file level attribution that okay, this line, etc., was written by ChatGPT?
No, so I can clarify a few things here regarding LLM usage. So one is that we allow LLM usage. The thing is, wherever ChatGPT generates code on its own, something like CMake files, I think that would be okay to attribute to just the LLM. But like, let's say that you are basing your project off some other open source work. Like, let's say you take GDB or Valgrind and then modify it to do something else, or like how Cursor is built on top of VS Code, right? So if you are basing your project off some other open source project, then you have to properly follow the guidelines of that open source project, which includes however they want their license to be attributed, because then you are basing a project off an open source
I see.
project. So, and LLM usage, there is one caveat here that you have to have explainability. We spoke to the professors and the program committee members, and the bottom line is that you should be able to explain your code. If you do something like, let's say, some teams are there, if you are planning on doing something like using an LLM as a debugger, right? That you just send faulty code to an LLM and the LLM explains what the error is. So that is strictly speaking not a proper compiler project, and you cannot place any bounds on the correctness of the output.
Yeah,
So if you are planning on using LLMs for something like optimizing code or debugging code, then be prepared to answer some very hard questions from the jury regarding how accurate that approach is, how well does it perform, and how did you measure that it performs better than other existing approaches.
I see.
So yeah, so these are
Yeah,
the, yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
So
yeah,
around this only, actually, if I'm allowed to ask another,
yeah. Sure, please go ahead.
let's say I take project A. Let's say LLVM, right? Let's say I take LLVM's source code and I make some additions on top of it.
Yes.
And my question here is that how is the content of my project gonna be judged? Should I show diff files? Should I show commits, or should I make a PR and then show that?
So
And
in general, the people judging your project are already area experts. So you have to just tell what you built on top of LLVM, and they'll be able to figure it out from there. You don't have to give a diff or anything. But yeah, you don't have to like give a diff, but you have to respect licenses. Like LLVM, I think is BSD license, but if you're building something on top of GPL, then you have to open source your project if you're including GPL code in your project. So yeah, just respect the license. Tell exactly how you're building on top of LLVM, and the rest the jury will be able to know, like what vanilla LLVM has versus what you're building on top of it.
I see.
So yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that's the questions I had. I'm assuming that okay, in the 5 minutes, it's like mostly a demo of our work instead of going into a full technical deep dive. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah. Yeah, that's correct. So you can probably like this is more like about the pitching aspect. So as a I mean, as a hackathon judge and as a participant, I'd say that you should probably start with some kind of background. You should show the demo, how exactly it works on maybe on some small files, on some small examples. And then maybe you can show some slides or some information on some benchmarks or some results that you've gathered that helps you quantify your solution against other solutions. That's, I think, about as much as you can do in 5 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's from my end. Thank you, Ashutoshji, for letting me ask questions.
Sure, sure. Anyone else has any questions?
Hello. You mentioned that this conference was started last year. Like, was there a hackathon also last year? And if so,
No,
can you
no,
send the link? Of, and
no. The hackathon is happening for the first time this year. It's a new concept that we're starting. So yes, participating in the very first SEGFAULT hackathon. Yeah. Any other questions?
Top six will be able to present right at the end.
Yeah, top six will present at on the stage at the IICT conference.
More than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think you'll have more than 5 minutes. Ideally, like what you set aside in the conference timer is approximately 10 minutes per team. But we have to ask the program committee how much of that they want for Q&A. So you might get 6, 7 minutes, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of the things will rely on the Q&A, right? It's very easy
Mm-hmm.
to give a very polished demo, but when you start digging and asking questions, that's when you get to know the nitty-gritty. So you probably will get a couple of minutes more.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could try to do something like preparing a handout document or something that you can hand over to the jury or something like that. But yeah, assume that you'll get 5, 6 minutes, no more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Any more questions?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
So, a small question. I was thinking, what are the judging criteria, and what are their priorities? Like, what are their weightages?
Okay, so to be honest, we've not fully formalized this yet. sometime before the hackathon, we'll put out a sheet of all the criteria and their scores. Probably by the end of this week, uh, we'll put out a criteria that how many points something like demo carries versus how many points for presentation and effectiveness of the problem statement is. So we'll put out some criteria like that. But from what I can say from past experiences, that judging a hackathon is always somewhat subjective, right? So just focus on making an impressive demo and building and presenting it well. We'll also try to have a couple of rounds of mentoring where you can show us your demo and your PPT before the judging happens, and we can give you feedback on how to improve that. So we'll definitely do that before the judging.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Santosh,
yeah.
right.
Right.
I'm Mayank. So I had a doubt that like if we are like on like existing things, if we are trying a unique implementation, so
Mhm.
it could happen that like our implementation is a bit crude in the initial stage and it's not that optimized compared to like the other solutions.
Yeah,
So we can't really quantify that it is better unless we like improve it further. So will
yeah.
it like affect the scoring and all?
I mean, that's hard to predict, right? I would say that you could try to solve some subset of the problem first, or make a solution work for some part of the problem statement. You could obviously put bounds on it, like let's say if you're building a tool that has something for say C++, plus plus, you could support an older standard of C++. Plus plus. You could support only some features. Uh, you could place bounds on what you're able to do. Obviously, it's a hackathon, and everyone knows that it's not perfect. Solutions are not perfect at hackathons. Whatever you build is never 100% implemented, and there's no expectation of that also. But the premise should be there. Like if you are saying that I think that this X approach is better than this Y approach which is existing, you should have some basis to make that statement. Even if the implementation doesn't fully realize that, at least there should be some solid basis for why it should work. Now, it's your job to convince and convey that, so you can think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and like following that question, like if we are doing such type of implementations, will like the mentoring session help us like guide us on how we can like on what direction to pivot to if like it's not really like going forward
I I hope so.
post
So this
hackathon?
I hope so. So this weekend we'll try to get some mentors and some folks on board. Maybe I think a couple of the senior scientists at CDAC have told that they'll join us, and a couple of other senior people from the LLM social community will also join it. So probably I'll put out a form or something like that. That if you need mentoring, like please describe what you're building and what kind of help you really require. What are your questions? So you can fill that up, and we'll schedule a one-on-one call, and you can explain your questions, and they can answer. So hopefully it will be useful. That now, yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, we're approaching the half an hour mark. If there are no other questions, we can conclude the call.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah. So hi. I joined the meeting a little late. Could you
yeah.
please summarize, whatever was said because I think I missed quite a bit.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. We recorded the call. I'll post it. But to give you a short brief, we basically covered the background of this competition and our community and how we came to organize this. And we took questions from the audience. Questions were mainly on the judging format, the criteria used for judging, and all that. So we'll post a recording of this meeting on our YouTube channel, and I'll put a link here so you can just check that out.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you. All right, then we'll sync up again in a few days. All the best, and we look forward to what you build. Thank you.